Have you ever thought about how someone is doing the exact same thing as you, but they may be having more success than you? Or maybe you've been in a specific business or a specific niche for a long time and someone just started and they're already seeing the success that you've been working for years. And you're questioning, what is it they're doing that I'm not doing? What is it that they have that I don't have? And I want to answer that question for you. The answer is skills. Now, I want to encourage you to write this down. Skills pay the bills. I remember a few years ago when I first got started in entrepreneurship, I was focusing on doing a lot of different speaking engagements. I had a speaking engagement I did in Chesapeake, Virginia at the time, and then another one that I did in Norfolk, Virginia. The first event paid me $150. The second event paid me $250 for me to speak for about 30 to 35 minutes. I remember one day I was talking with my mentor about this, like, yeah, man, I got these speaking engagements. They're paying me $150, they're paying me $250. And he asked me a question. He said, how do you feel about the amount of money that you're making? And I was like, I feel pretty good about it, I guess. Of course, I would love to make more money, but that's all they pay. And then he asked me a really important question. He said, Tim, do you think that these places have ever paid people more money to speak on the same stage that you spoke on? And I said, well, absolutely. I know this person, they spoke on the same stage and they made this amount. And he said, okay, so $250 isn't all that they'll pay, right? It's just all that they'll pay you. And when he said that, it's something that I really thought about and I really pondered on. And he continued, he said, Tim, I want you to never forget this. Life can get better because you can get better. There's more for you because there's more in you. But if we were gonna get better, we wanna be specific about the skills that we need to work on to be better. So in this video, what is it I wanna do? I'm gonna share with you 4 essential skills that I feel like new founders need to consistently work on or grow themselves, but also their organization. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into this. Skill set number 1 that we wanna work on and constantly increase ourselves and our organization is our sales and marketing ability. This is the absolute key ingredient to any business, to any relationship, to any success. I want to really encourage you to write this down. Sales and marketing is the key to scale, is the key to growth. I know a lot of us, we hate sales, we hate salesmen. We go to car dealerships and we don't like the car salesman, or we see somebody online and they have a very aggressive sales pitch. And naturally that makes us not like salespeople or not like sales at all. But just understand this, sales is persuasion. Sales is persuasion. Your ability to persuade someone to make a decision that they already wanted to make. You just gave them these certain tactics and influenced them to go ahead and pull the plug. That's your ability to sell. Have you ever been on a date before? Do you have a husband or a wife right now? You had to sell them. You had to close them before they actually sealed the deal with you. If you have a job right now, you have to go in and do an interview. You have to create a resume. This resume gave you an opportunity to sell yourself, to pitch who you are. You got a chance to talk about all your skills. What is it you did for other companies? What is it you plan on doing for this company? You have to sell yourself. Now, what I find out to be true about most people in this space is we struggle with that. We struggle with speaking highly about ourselves and our abilities. We struggle with speaking highly about ourselves and our organization, which causes other people to not want to be involved with what it is that we're doing. So I know I said sales and marketing, so I kind of mentioned sales, but now let me talk about marketing. Please hear me out. If people don't know you, they can't flow you. You have an amazing website, an amazing idea. Maybe you haven't started your nonprofit organization yet, which obviously myself and my team can get you fully set up and registered, all done for you. But once your nonprofit is created, it isn't just that, okay, my nonprofit is created, the world knows that I have a nonprofit. See, a lot of people think that when they create a website and then they click go live and then boom, their website is now published and now everybody in the world can see it. Well, that's great, but then you got to ask yourself a question. How are we going to get people to see our website, right? Think about where your donation link is right now. You want people to donate to your organization for a specific cause, or you want people to learn more about your programs for whatever reason. You have to ask yourself, how am I going to get people to the place that describes my programs? How am I going to get people to the place that describes my organization? So let's say, for example, the only place that I can go to learn more about your organization is your website. You need to ask yourself, if I'm a stranger and I don't know you, how could I get to your website? This is marketing. You have to send me a link through text message. You have to hand me a business card. I mean, that could work too, but how could you get a stranger's attention? How could you get a stranger to get to your website? This is your marketing ability, whether it be running ads, whether it be running Google ads. As a nonprofit organization, you can actually qualify for Google ads, where they'll give you up to $10,000 a month to promote your organization however you desire on Google. right? Establishing yourself with SEO, establishing your organization with ChatGPT. This is something that we're working on heavily. We talk to ChatGPT every single day about the nonprofit launcher, about Timothy Wright, about what it is that we're doing as a company, because the more we specify about what it is that we're doing and the goodness that we're causing in the community, then what happens is when people research nonprofit space or nonprofit filings, ChatGPT will now start recommending the nonprofit launcher. Does that make sense? This could happen for your organization as well, but it's all a matter of how much are you marketing. So think about that little example I just shared with you about ChatGPT. I spend time marketing and selling and pitching myself to ChatGPT in hopes of we're now going to become AI SEO. So you know how there's Google SEO, where whatever you research on Google, the top businesses or top brands, they're going to be on the very first page. This is now happening with AI. More people are spending more time researching on AI than they are on Google. So we can get our business to be in the SEO algorithm. Major success for our organization. Does that make sense? So a couple of ways that you can be marketing your organization. Number one is going to be creating informative and engaging content. I'm recommending you pick 2 or 3 platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Threads, any platform that you can promote your organization on, you want to try to do it. I want to encourage you to stop telling people how hard you're going to grow your organization if there's no social proof out in the world. Guys, it's 2025. I love you. I respect you. It's 2025. If I go to your page and there's no content, I don't think you're serious. Can I just tell you that truth? Can I tell you that truth? If you say that you do X, Y, and Z and you're trying to help this many amount of people and this many amount of people and you've been doing this and this and this for years, and then I go to your TikTok or I go to your Facebook, I go to your YouTube channel, I go to your Instagram, your LinkedIn, and there's nothing there, I automatically don't believe you. And it's not because I'm a bad guy, and it's not because you're a bad person or, I'm judgmental. It's because we're in 2025. This is how the world works. Your social presence is the new proof. Please promote yourself. It'll be worth it. Number 2, the second skill that's highly encouraged to work on is our messaging. Your messaging is super critical. And what I mean by that is the message that you're sharing with donors, the message that you're sharing with sponsors, the message that you're sharing with likely business partners or people who just want to make a large donation to your organization. If you're sitting down in front of me and I say, okay, what is it that you're doing as an organization? And you start going over here, rambling over here, going down there. And then I'm confused and I'm in this space and I'm still kind of unsure of what you're actually trying to do, what your intent is. This means that your messaging is off. Now think about it like this. Let's say if my favorite music is rap, but when you speak about your organization, it comes out as Latin music, something that I can't understand, something that I can't comprehend, and something that I wasn't looking for. 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to want to continue the conversation and or make any contribution to whatever said business because I don't comprehend, I don't understand it. So for you as a founder, a board member, an executive within your organization, you want to ensure that you are crystal clear about what it is that you're doing. If you have an iPhone, you can open up the iPhone, and what I always do is you can go to voice memos, right? If you go to voice memos, I have a bunch of voice memos right here. You can't really see them, but I have a bunch of voice memos. I'm talking about a bunch of voice memos because what I like to do is I'll record myself. Let's say if I have a specific message that I want to share, I'll do this with anything. If I want to send a voice recording, whatever it may be, I'll record myself 2 or 3 times on voice memo to see how I sound, to see if I'm convincing to me. Because I feel like if I convince myself and I'm my biggest critic, then I definitely can convince you. If I can get myself to see my point, I can definitely get yourself to see the point as well. This is something I want to highly encourage you to work on, your messaging ability. Write this down for me. Conversation rules the nation. Conversation rules the nation. How well do you conversate and communicate about what it is that you're doing, about your intent, about who you are? I was speaking with a gentleman maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling him, I said, hey brother, I just want to be very honest with you because I'm your friend and I want to see you succeed. We've been talking now for 15 minutes and I asked you what it is that you do as a nonprofit. And I've been listening to you talk and you still haven't given me the answer. You've been rambling saying that we should do this and we should do this and we're going to do that and we're going to do that, we're going to do that. But you still haven't answered the question as far as what it is you do as an organization. He said, yeah, man, I know I got to work on that, man, getting to the point. I said 1000%. Because if I was somebody that's rude, if I was my older self, I'm definitely evolving, I'm growing, becoming more mature, more empathetic, I would have cut you off a long time ago. Hey, What are we talking about? How do we get way over here? Now, I'm saying this to you as a human being, as a friend, so you work on this. You work on your messaging, right? Sit down in front of somebody and talk to them about your organization and just look at their body language, look at their eye contact and see if you're actually keeping their attention. Are you engaged with them? These are things that you want to work on being a messenger. This is what you are. You're a salesperson, right? You are a messenger. We have to work on our messaging. When I create these YouTube videos, I'm constantly thinking about, am I getting my point across? Am I rambling? Am I spending too much time on one topic? These are things that I'm constantly working on, because in the 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, when our videos are doing 1 million views or 500,000 views or whatever it may be, it'll only be because I've thought about, and my team, we're working on getting better at communicating. It make sense? I recommend you do that as well. All right, number 3 is storytelling. Remember that facts tell, but stories sell. 9 times out of 10, when someone starts an organization for their community, there's a personal attachment to the reason why they're starting an organization. Meaning, if someone is creating an organization for youth mental health or youth depression, either they experienced it themselves or they know someone firsthand who's experiencing it, and they may not have the proper resources to overcome that situation, which causes them to want to become that resource. Does that make sense? So for you, if that's you in any shape or form, if you're creating an organization, a transitional home for people trying to, overcome homelessness, and you've been there before, or you've been in prison before. We actually just got a guy started with us, and he's creating an organization where he wants to speak to youth about being wrongfully incarcerated and what to do. The power of networking, the power of relationships, the power of association. I think it's very, very amazing what he's trying to do. And it's because he was affected by the power of association. He got caught up in something negative when he was younger, and he didn't even do anything, but because of who he was with, he did almost 10 years in prison because of who he was with. Him sharing that with me, hear me out, guys, him sharing that with me, it made me so enticed to want to know more. I started asking more questions. Oh man, what was your experience like? Did you meet anybody else in jail who was wrongfully convicted as well? And it was also the law of association. And he said there was a bunch of guys in there who swore up and down that they didn't do it, but they were connected and with people who were participating. And I say all that to say, vulnerability is the bridge to connection. Please do me a favor and write that down. Vulnerability is the bridge to connection. I remember when I first got involved into network marketing, and my mentor always said that facts tell, but stories sell. So I was trying to think of a story that I could use that was real, that was legit, that could move people. As soon as I asked that, God had something crazy happen in my life so I could tell the story. I was wrongfully accused of a crime, and this was 2017, and I had to wait a couple of months before the case was dismissed. It was just a bunch of weird stuff that happened in that time. The case was dismissed, but during that time, I actually wasn't able to have my life insurance license. So the girlfriend that I had at the time, which is the mother of my child, we was actually running all of our business under her code. January 14th of 2018, the case gets dismissed. I took my test August 9th of 2017, which is my birthday. Then you have a 90 days or 180 days before the test lapses. You have to take the test over again. So as of January 9th, 2018, the test that I took was no longer applicable. So I needed to take the test all over again. So on the January 14th, I called, my case got dismissed. I was super excited. My case got dismissed. I have all the information that I need. I want to go ahead and get my license. And the lady was like, well, it seems like your test is actually past due and you may need to take it again. And I said, what? At the time, I didn't even know that this was a rule. She said, well, sir, actually, hold on. Give me just a second. She went gone for 60 seconds. She came back. She said, I think it's a blessing. It's a miracle that's happened because we see that you took your test on August 9th, but they actually didn't plug your information into the system until August 15th. I'm getting chills right now as I'm saying this. This is a true story. So as of January 14th, when the case got dismissed and I called the SEC, I only had one more day before my test was inapplicable, before my test was non-usable, and I was gonna have to take it all over again. When I shared that message with my team, I remember I went to my office and I shared that message with my team, and everybody was crying. They was in so much joy for me. They were so happy for me. And I was telling them man, this is a sign, God gave me another the chance. He put me in this position that we're about to take this business to a new level. Everybody on my team was so fired up. Everybody was focused, and we was having the highest months that we ever had in business because of that story. Because I was willing to share my story and me being vulnerable. Like, nobody wants to talk about, them being arrested. That's embarrassing, right? Nobody wants to talk about something negative they had to happen in their past. That's embarrassing. But I didn't realize that me sharing my struggles as a leader, it built a bridge. Vulnerability is the bridge to connection. So you have a story as well. There's a reason why it is that you're doing what it is that you're doing. And it may be heartfelt. It may make you cry, but it may make the donor cry. It may make the sponsor cry. It may make your supporters cry. It may want to make them get extremely involved with what it is that you're doing. So don't be afraid to share that. Remember, facts tell, but stories sell. Then last but not least, number 4 is you have to increase the ask. You have to increase the ask. It's been so many times where I'm sitting down with people and then they say they had a conversation with a donor, or they had a conversation with a sponsor, or they had a conversation with an individual who wanted to invest in what it is that they were doing. But when it came to the end of the conversation, they didn't ask for the dollar amount. They didn't ask for the $10,000 donation. They didn't say, hey, just based on the conversation that we had, and I feel like we're truly aligned with each other, I really believe that what you're doing as a company can benefit the community, and what we're doing in the world could also benefit the community as well as your company. We would love to partner up with you. We would love for somebody like yourself to make a $25,000 donation. This would go to X, Y, and Z. It would enhance this many lives, and we're going to be able to do this with it. We would love for you to be our biggest supporter. And some people may say no, but you'll be so surprised how many people say, okay, you know what? Let me think about it. And then they call you right away and say, let's do it. Let's do it. But you have to increase your ask. I think that a lot of us hate asking people for help. But if you have not heard the saying, this one is very crucial. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Think about anything big that's happened on its own. It's always happened with the collective effort, with the collective contribution to whatever this is. So for you, you are going to need help, whether that be from board members, whether that be from chairmen inside your organization, whether that be from your donors, your sponsors, your friends, your family, your connections that you already have, your acquaintances. At some point, you are going to need help. So why not position yourself to ask? I want to encourage you to think about this. You want to work on your messaging, work on your sales ability, and work on your storytelling right before you ask. If your messaging is good, if your story is good, if you're marketing yourself well too, getting people to trust that you are the guy. People always ask that. Why you? Why this? What would you say to that? A lot of times people don't have enough confidence in themselves to answer that question. Why you? Why this? Can you do me a favor? I would love for you to comment down below and be honest. What is it that you're doing? Why you? And why this? Read it over and over again and see if this is something that's actually compelling. If not, do it again. That doesn't mean that what you're doing isn't right. Doesn't mean that who you are isn't the person. But can you communicate it in a way that makes you seem like you are the person? Because you are. I want to encourage you to think about this video today. Watch it again if you need to. Skills pay the bills. I genuinely believe that these skills have turned our business into almost a 7-figure organization. I do believe that these skills have helped us acquire thousands of different customers all over the country, right? And I do believe that if you implemented these same things and these same principles and mindsets, you will have the same success as well. So I hope this video was informative for you. If it was, just do us a favor, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend that's also in this space as well. You're really making an impact by helping us get our messaging out. And we do this because we want to make a difference. So until next time, I'm signing off. I'll see you again soon. Peace.